So I'm going to start off with a question, and this is a serious question. Does anybody volunteer to get detained with me right after my speech, trying to walk into Liberland? We'll probably go by Danube River. Okay, 1 volunteer, 2, 3. You already did it, you already got detained. You can do it, they probably know you, they're probably, oh, you again. Anybody else? I'm being dead serious because I tried to go this morning. We tried to take the big boat, some of you guys were there, then the police wouldn't let us go. Then I took a speedboat with Vit and some other people, and we were just surrounded by Croatian police, like 3 different boats. Then they had people policemen walking on the shore. And then, I don't know, it was difficult at that time. But I can't come here and not actually step foot on the land. That's kind of how my brain works, yeah. Because technically I'm in Serbia right now, even though we're close. And I've been to every country in the world, and by going to every country, you have to like go to the country physically. So, and usually not just step a foot. I mean, here, I probably will only step a foot because I'll get detained. So raise your hand again if you're coming, because I'm going to look for you right after this. 1, you want to come? 2, 3. Okay, cool. I'm looking forward, guys. And we're going to document it, and I'm making a really good story about Liberland. So I don't have a PowerPoint. This is kind of a last-minute decision to speak, but I'm always happy to meet you guys. So I'm just going to tell my story quickly, and then I want to do a Q&A, like travel Q&A, because I think all of you guys are travelers. First of all, where are you from? Just scream your country.
France. I'm from Liberland.
I only heard European countries. Anyone not from Europe?
Mauritius. U.S.
Mauritius, U.S., Hong Kong, anything else?
The free state of Florida.
Gibraltar? Florida? The first city of Florida, not the first state. St. Augustine.
No, I said the free state.
Oh, they said the first state. I was like, isn't that Delaware? But you have the first city, St. Augustine. Okay, so I grew up in Arizona, Scottsdale. It's like a suburb of Phoenix. I went to college in Wisconsin because I wanted to get out of the heat. And I had a great time in Madison, Wisconsin. It was a really fun school. And I studied abroad, 2012. I studied in Prague, and I know there's a lot of Prague connection to Liberland, of course. A lot of you guys are Czech. I know that Vit is from Prague, or Czech Republic. So that's where I got the travel bug in 2012. I studied at Charles University. I was 20 years old, so I couldn't even legally drink in America, but I just went crazy those 6 months. Went to every bar and club in Prague, had the most amazing time. And that's where I got the travel bug, because I went to Vienna and Amsterdam and Oslo and everywhere else on the weekend, because Prague is right in the middle of Europe. And I'm actually currently living in Prague for summer. So after I left Prague, I went back to Wisconsin, graduated with a degree in economics, and then I wanted to keep traveling. So I got a job teaching English in South Korea for 2 years. I was in a little village south of Seoul. Anyone been to Korea? Only a few people. That's it. Only 3 people in here have been to Korea? Wow, interesting. So it's an amazing country if you ever get the chance to go there. Stayed there for 2 years. I traveled all around Asia, like Japan, Taiwan, China, Vietnam, Philippines, Hong Kong, wherever I could go. And I started a travel blog documenting my trips in Asia and also writing about my time in Europe. And I grew the blog to 20,000 visitors a month by the time I left Korea, which was in February 2015, right around the time that Liberland started. I just saw that, that's interesting. Then I had a goal to go to every country. I was at 49 or 50 countries when I had the goal, because I was 23 years old, and I connected with a guy named Lee, who's a good friend of mine, and he was the youngest American to go to every country, and he finished when he was 31, and I was 23 or 24, and I had been to 50 countries. So I was like, why not? Nothing's stopping me, just go. So I went to India for 3 months. That trip was life-changing for many reasons. Backpacking, I got in a bus crash, 2 people died on that bus. But if you ever traveled in India, you have the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, and that's kind of what happened, and I loved it though, looking back. And then I kept traveling. I met Deanna, who's now my wife, but we met in October 2015. We met in Bangkok. She's from the Philippines. And then she bought me a video camera and was like, you should start making videos and putting them online. Because I'm a minimalist, I travel with just a backpack, and I don't want to have heavy camera gear. And now look at me, that entire bag is camera gear. So then I started making videos. The first viral video I made was in North Korea, April 2017. I went to North Korea for 4 days, and I made a video about the experience, and it got 10 million views within a week. And that was the moment that I kind of had the light bulb. I stopped my blog because it was just getting old, and I started focusing on video content. So I started literally going to every country, which it's hard to do in the sense of like patience, getting visas, spending money. Like you have to really set your mind to go to every country, because there's countries like Libya, Syria, Afghanistan, Venezuela, Eritrea, Nauru in the Pacific. Like those are hard to get into, so it's a challenge. So then I started making videos in countries like Afghanistan, and they started going viral, and then I finished my goal to every country in October 2021. So it's been 10 months now. So that was exciting. It was hard to finish during COVID, but I managed to do it. And now I'm going to unrecognized countries. You know what that means? Seriously, it's a thing. It's like I have to have the next goal. I finished every country, now where to next? Well, there's about 30 countries that are self-declared or de facto states or unrecognized countries or disputed territories. There's many ways to look at it. Somaliland, Kurdistan, Kashmir, French Guyana, Artsakh, Nagorno-Karabakh, South Ossetia, Transnistria. Have you guys heard of these places? Yeah. Has anyone been to any of these places? Yeah. So that's kind of my mission. Like, I haven't really announced I want to go to every unrecognized country, but I've known about Liberland for a while. I've been connected with Peter and some other people in the U.S. office, and finally I had the chance to come here, and this festival is really cool. So I came, and now I'm here, and really excited to go to Liberland itself. But it's been really nice to learn about the culture and the community and the innovation, and everybody here is so like-minded, and I wasn't really expecting that because I had no expectations when I came here, but it's been really amazing. So yeah, I'm glad to meet all you guys, and thanks for being here. The question is, what's the most out of the ordinary country? Uzbekistan was really amazing. I just went there with no expectations, and I stayed longer. I stayed for a few weeks because it was wonderful. Iran is another country that's fantastic. I just got back from Iran a few months ago for my second trip. I love, 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 love Iran. I could speak about Iran on a whole nother talk. Venezuela is another one. Everyone's scared to go there. I thought it was totally fine, normal. I walked around the slums of Caracas with my camera with just one local friend, and we had a blast. Not only in the slums, but we went elsewhere. Those are some that come to mind. I also like countries that no one's ever heard of, like Kiribati. Has anybody heard of a country called Kiribati? It's a UN nation. The capital is called Tarawa, T-A-R-A-W-A, and they have 90,000 people. It's in the Pacific. So I've known about Liberland for maybe 3 or 4 years, but I never really thought too much about it until recently. Yeah. Yes?
Are you officially a citizen of Liberland yet?
I'm not officially a citizen, but I would love to be. And I would like to I'm making a really cool video now about Liberland, interviewing people, sharing the story, but that would be like a sequel, like another video, if I can get the passport, because that would be super cool.
What would be your call to action to other citizens of Liberland if you could manifest something?
Like if I could be...
Say you're a citizen, what would be your call to your fellow citizens as far as growing Liberland?
Let's grow this place together. I don't know. I want to be part of it. What I like about Liberland is it's like a communal thing. Like people have a say and everybody listens and they make adjustments. Like it's not like the traditional political system. So I would just want to, be around like-minded people and make decisions together, really. Yes?
The most annoying country, probably?
So that's a subjective question because if a bad thing happens to you, it's because of things that are out of your control. Like you get really sick. The weather starts pouring rain, you get in a car crash. So those things, it's hard to pick on a country, but in my personal experience, I had the worst times in Chad, Guinea, Sierra Leone, to name a few. There's other ones, but those three. Yes?
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What was the best, the nicest country in South America?
In terms of hospitality or?
Where, if you would imagine somebody would want to live there, what would be the best country for you?
So I wouldn't say Venezuela if you want to live there, but I think the nicest people are from there. I think Argentina or Brazil, it's hard to go wrong. This is me personally speaking, I don't want to offend anyone. Ecuador, I find it's cool, but it's kind of boring, it's too slow. Same with Peru. Colombia is amazing. I love the culture up there.
Colombia.
And then Guyana and Suriname are just more boring, Yes?
To follow up on that, if you have to, come to your face, pick one place to live in that country. What would it be?
So Such a hard question. If I have to pick one place to live indefinitely, well, because my family's in the U.S., probably there, but excluding the U.S., definitely somewhere in Asia. So I'm gonna go with Vietnam. Yeah, I spent like 6 months there. I love Asia. My favorite word is called inshallah. It's an Arabic word. It's literally like the best word in the world in any language because it's like, are you an Arabic speaker?
Like shwai.
Ma bechi Arabi. Yeah, inshallah means like God willing, but they use it for everything and it's a great word. It's like, see you tomorrow, inshallah. It's just like a response. Like, I hope Liberland will become a country, inshallah. I don't know. If you ever go to any Arabic speaking nation, you'll start to hear that word. It's a good one. Yes?
What do you think about Liberland?
I think it's fantastic. I love the community. I mean, I haven't been to the land yet, but I already know what it's like because it's like all the nature around here. But I love the ideas, the freedom feeling, and just the innovation and the optimism. Everyone here is like on the same level of, future thinking, and it's kind of like a music festival here, kind of. It feels like it. It literally is a music festival, but even if there was no music, it feels like that feeling. If you're asking the most unfriendly country, I mean, once again, it's subjective, but I've had the roughest times in West Africa because I did it by car, and every single border is a nightmare. If anyone's traveled, I know you've traveled there for a long time. But yeah, it's all, I love it though. Looking back, it's fun, memories, and good stories. Yes?
Do you plan to start on TV?
No, YouTube is like TV. I mean, people literally watch YouTube as a replacement of TV. So I feel like, I can make a living from it, and I have full creative control. I can go anywhere, I can make any stories. If I start working with a TV network, they're gonna send a director, and the guy's gonna be like, hey, do this, and I already know that it's not gonna fly. So I like to be spontaneous. I'm very spontaneous, and just kind of go with the flow and find the story. And as long as I can keep making money on YouTube, then I'll stick with YouTube. The question was, how long did it take for me to get to here on YouTube? My first videos were on Facebook. I neglected YouTube. I regret it now, but I neglected YouTube for no reason. And then in mid-2018, I started posting on YouTube. And it was kind of a slow growth at first, but when videos go viral in the algorithm, then they get shared and shared. And I think 2019 was a breakout year. I went from 300,000 to 1 million or 1.5 million subscribers. And then from there, you just got to keep making good content, and then people will watch it. It's a struggle though. YouTube world is stressful, very. I have a team of 15 people. Yes?
Yeah, so are you anyhow kind of interested in decentralization, crypto, and
Yeah.
in this sense, alternative media? Because
Definitely.
So are you somewhere in alternative media, like Odette, for example, or somewhere out of YouTube?
No, I like the Web3 space. I've been to 4 crypto conferences in the US. Most recently, Consensus in Austin, Texas. I was speaking there. I went to one in LA, I went to one in Denver, and New York, and Miami. So I like the space. I'm not like a crazy investor or anything, but I really enjoy talking to people and hearing about what's next. I'm always looking to pivot to the next thing. So whether it's VR or whatever, I want to be able to get my foot in the door first. And it's interesting.
Consensus was in the metaverse as well. The first time ever in the world, they were the first crypto conference in the metaverse, right?
I was there physically, but did you watch it in the metaverse, or did you join it? No.
You had to apply for tickets,
Oh.
and it was very limited.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. But are you planning to have some alternative media, or is only TV?
I don't want to focus my time on metaverse stuff because
No. I'm talking about YouTube is banning a lot of speakers. It's in some way kind of violating as well our rights. So you might be successful because you have a live content, but a lot of good people are also banned from YouTube. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I have friends that post content that have gotten banned from YouTube. I just try to make it PG. You're right though. I mean, YouTube, at any time they can just cut my channel. It happened to me on Facebook temporarily.
You were kind of a slave. You do great things, but you were enslaved.
True, but I do enjoy it, and I'll just make sure my content's good for now. I do want to go more into Web3 and crypto and metaverse, but I don't want to just neglect everything I've done until now. I want to keep it going. The question was, how did I choose my countries? Basically, I attacked regions at a time, So I would spend like 3 months in Southern Africa, and then 2 months in the Horn of Africa, which is Eritrea, Somalia, Djibouti, those countries. And in the Pacific, I did like 5 trips to the Pacific. There's like 15 countries, but they're all really small, and there's like 1 flight per week that goes to these countries. Literally 1 flight per week. So from Fiji, so you have to go to Fiji. I've been to Fiji 20 times. Then you have to take the 1 flight a week to Nauru, stay in Nauru. Actually, it's every 5 days. So stay in Nauru for 5 days, and then go back to Fiji. And then go from Fiji to Tonga, stay for a few days, go back to Fiji. Fiji to Kiribati, Kiribati, back to Fiji. To Tuvalu, back to Fiji. So that's how I did the South Pacific. But yeah, like Central Asia, you know, in 1 trip, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan. I think it's smart to do it in regions. Yeah. It's hard to avoid politics. It's impossible. If you go to a country like Syria, and like more than half the buildings are completely destroyed, and there's like people going to school walking through the ruins, it's really sad. So it's hard to like not say something about that in my video as a human, like forget about anything else. But I do try to like stay neutral and not pick sides because I don't want to piss off anyone. And at the end of the day, I'm just trying to like make good stories about humanity and share the good side of the world, because the media focuses on the 1% of the bad people and the rapes and the murders and terrorist attacks. I just try to show the other side. The world is like safe and happy and friendly. So I focus heavily on culture and people, and I try to stay away from politics. But sometimes it's hard. It's hard. Like right here, I'm about to get detained by Croatian police. I mean, weirdest food that I tried but I liked. Has anybody heard of cuy?
Yes. Guinea pig.
Yeah, they eat guinea pig in Ecuador. It's like a festive thing. Like I went to the mountains in Riobamba in Ecuador for some Quechua tribe wedding, and there was a room about this big, and they were all having guinea pig. They're about this long, and with the face on it and everything, and they just put a stick through it and roast it. But they were roasting like 500 of them in a big fire pit, and then everybody was just eating cuy. It's like a delicacy, but I thought it tastes pretty good actually. Yeah, I will eat anything. I don't always enjoy it, but I will try everything. Yeah. Yes?
How do you sustain your lifestyle?
Like with money?
Yeah.
YouTube ads, Facebook ads, Snapchat ads. I have a show on Snapchat. And then sponsors. So I'm working with tourism boards. I'm going to Taiwan in 2 months, doing a big campaign with the tourism board. I work with brands like Singapore Airlines, Airbnb. So like, just like any advertisement is, like if you watch my video, I'll talk about, it has to be about travel and stuff, but I'll talk about the product, and then they'll pay me for that. So, and you know, speaking engagements and other kind of things. I sell courses.